From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. Chancellor Merz calls for a ceasefire and to put pressure on Russia. The German chancellor said he would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting with Ukraine, Russia, and the United States. Like his other European counterparts, Merz had praise for Trump for his role in the process of angling to work out an end to the war. Rutte told Trump his willingness to participate in security guarantees marked a breakthrough and makes all the difference. And by the way, Rutte is the prime minister from Finland. Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the EU, called for working together on a just and lasting peace, while Italian Prime Minister Meloni called the gathering an important day and a new phase. Meanwhile, the Russian official from the Kremlin says that Putin spoke in favor of continued talks with Ukrainian delegation, according to state media reports from Russia. The Russian state news agency TASS cited Putin's foreign affairs advisor, Yuri Ushakov, as saying the two presidents spoke in favor of continuing direct talks between the Russian and Ukrainian delegations. Ushakov said they also discussed the idea of raising the level of the direct Russian-Ukrainian negotiations. The Trump administration is working to overturn another decades-old school desegregation case. The Trump administration is siding with a Louisiana school district that says it should be released from decades-old desegregation orders that some advocates say are still needed to address racial disparities. In a motion filed Friday, the Justice Department and the Concordia Parish School Board agreed to dismiss a 1960s case that required the small district to integrate its public schools. Court orders have remained in place to address the lingering impact of segregation. U.S. District Judge D. Drell has yet to decide on the request. The Justice Department and Louisiana's Attorney General have worked to end older desegregation cases they say are no longer needed. In April, they lifted a 1965 order in Louisiana's Plaquemines Parish. Concordia's filing says the orders interfere with its local control. In July, the NAACP Legal Defense Fund filed a brief arguing that there is significant evidence that vestiges of discrimination continue to harm Black students in Concordia's schools. And speaking of Louisiana, they've become the sixth GOP-led state to authorize troop deployment to Washington, D.C. The state joins 5 others that have authorized the deployment of National Guard troops to Washington as part of Donald Trump's show of force meant to crack down on crime and boost immigration enforcement in the nation's capital. The number of state troops detailed to the president's effort from the 6 states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, West Virginia, South Carolina, and Ohio, amount to more than 1,100 troops. Governors from the states said they were responding to requests from the Trump administration. It was not immediately clear why the administration requested additional support. About 800 troops have already been called up from the Washington, D.C. National Guard and have had a limited assigned role so far in Trump's 10-day-old attempted takeover of D.C. law enforcement. And finally, President Donald Trump on Monday vowed more changes to the way elections are conducted in the United States, but based on the Constitution, there is little to nothing he can do on his own. Relying on false information and conspiracy theories that he's regularly used to explain away his 2020 election loss, Trump pledged on his social media site that he would do away with both mail voting, which remains widely popular and is used by about 1/3 of all voters, and voting machines, some form of which are used in almost all of the country's thousands of election jurisdictions. These are the same systems enabled Trump to win the 2024 election and Republicans to gain control of Congress. And lest we forget, the entire state of Oregon is nothing but mail-in votes. Trump's post marks an escalation even in his normally overheated election rhetoric. He issued a wide-ranging executive order earlier this year that, among other changes, would have required documented proof of citizenship before registering to vote. His Monday post promised another election executive order to help Bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. Whatever. The same post also pushed falsehoods about voting. He claimed the U.S. is the only country to use mail-in voting, when it's actually used by dozens of countries, including Germany, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. You know what? That's the news at this hour. If you are watching our news videos on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page on paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Simply tell your device, Alexa, play PEP Radio. Well, coming up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast, and that's right here on PEP Radio.